Yeah, he's not around anymore. He wants to fuck other bitches. Good morning, y'all. It's Timothy. I drank a lot of Mountain Dew, so I'm ready to finally talk to you about this very fucked up time I had with this man right here. This I will be addressing all the highs, the lows, the good, the bad, the nice, and the sad, because I don't know, you would look at a video like that and you would definitely think those people are still in touch with each other, right? You know, nothing bad ever occurred on that trip. You know, they probably would at least still be friends from the way they were embracing each other, right? Well, strap in, I have a story to tell you from start to finish about how this went. So to start off this story with a little bit of context, let's see, most of 2024 was a very shitty year for me. For a quick rundown, let's see, had an abusive relationship with a man named Jared Veras. He was 32, I was 23. Let's just say it wasn't all bubblegum and gumdrops. It was more like a lot of sexual abuse and harm my direction. I made friends and lost them just as fast, if not faster, once people decided to pick sides and who they wanted to be close with more. The guy who was sexually abusing me and being emotionally abusive and spreading rumors and being an overall menace, or me, you know? And surprisingly, I did not win that one. The world's not as nice of a place as I thought it was. So I was having a rough fucking year. It's like, and mind you, the year before that I also had a fucked up relationship. So simply put, the last 2 years beat the shit out of me. One of the few comforts I had at the time was my ex-boyfriend Liam. We have been on and off for about 3 years by now. He's a wonderful soul, very sweet person. Is he perfect? Fuck no. But there was a point within the last few months of 2024 where I thought to myself, you know what? I think I actually do love Liam. He's always been there for me. He's very sweet. Like, he can pick me up when I fall. Like, emotional things have happened one way or another, yada, yada, yada. Let's just say, imagine my surprise when December 19th I found out that my supposed lover, Liam, did not get me a single gift for Christmas. And I'm finding this out on December 19th, 2024. As you can imagine, I was devastated, and I thought to myself, you know what? Wow, I can't believe that after all I've done for him, all the deep throating, all the raw sex, all the late night cuddles, and all like the embracing each other, and like me saying I loved him, and this, like, all of that. I thought we were actually getting to the point where we were right before shit hit the fan when we broke up. But then I realized, no, he hasn't really changed at all in all this time. And I thought to myself, wow, I can't believe Liam just hasn't thought of me whatsoever. Am I going to have another bad Christmas this year? I'm not going to get any gifts, and I won't hang out with him because he's going to hang out with his family, who doesn't fucking like me for whatever fucking reason. Well, okay, some of them have valid reasons, some of them really don't. But I thought to myself, you know what? Why am I actually being monogamous and celibate still? Because I decided to be celibate. Why? Because I lose my fucking mind when I have sex with somebody. It's something that I decided quite some years ago, that I would only have sex with someone unless I explicitly was paid, or unless I explicitly am in a relationship of some kind that was intense and substantial with a person. So I don't give the pussy to just anybody. And Liam was someone who I had been fucking for a while. Like, for years, you know, despite our breakup. You know, we'd still go on dates, we'd still hang out and stuff. We just weren't really in a monogamous thing anymore. But let's just say, on December 19th, I kind of just fell apart. I was like, wow, here I was really caring about this guy. And in hindsight, when have I enjoyed a holiday with him? It's been a while. He's not fun on Halloween. He wasn't there for me on Thanksgiving. He's gonna just hang out with his stupid, shitty, snarky ass family, his narcissistic, terrible family, and he probably got gifts for them, even though they haven't gotten gifts for him in fucking years. And he probably hasn't gotten me shit, and he's gonna spend the whole day hanging out with them, playing Mario Party, and watching movies, and having good fucking beautiful feasts that his mom was slaving in the fucking kitchen over, and he's gonna have a great time. And where am I gonna be? I'm gonna be at home, miserable as fuck, lying on my floor, crying, starving, hungry, like fucking having issues with my goddamn housemaid and my landlord. and being nervous about what comes next. And like, I just thought to myself, I don't want to start off a new year fucking terribly, but it seems like it's going to be yet another depressing Christmas out of many, many, many depressing Christmases in my life. I've had a lot of fucking messed up Christmases. Like, I still remember the Christmas I got my mom a bracelet that she had wanted like for ages, and I spent like $100 of my own fucking teenage money out of it to get it to her, and she couldn't even smile when she thanked me for it. She acted like she didn't remotely want it. And I remember that was the same Christmas she threatened to punch me in the face. That wasn't nice. I remember how as a child we stopped celebrating Christmas when I was young, specifically because I don't know, my mom was a stupid narcissistic bitch who didn't want to take out her anger on her husband, who she should have been mad at, and instead decided to take it out on her kids, blaming us for the reason she didn't get gifts under the tree. And mind you, we were all under the age of 10, if I recall correctly, and none of us had jobs. Be mad at your husband for not fucking taking us to the store and giving us money and saying, "Here, kids, go run along. Go get your mom something nice with this, with like $10 each." But no. And then aside from that, let's see, I have many Christmases where people made promises to me and then promptly abandoned me. Christmases I've spent alone. Christmases where I got gifts for other people and they didn't fucking appreciate it. Plenty of terrible, terrible times. I hadn't had a good Christmas in like maybe 2 years or so. Yeah. So I like the only time I had a good Christmas was with Liam back when me and his family were on not so hostile terms. And even then, I remember the way I made gifts for all of them despite being poor as fuck and struggling with my bills, and they still didn't appreciate any of it. Because they, like, none of them thanked me, they just rolled their eyes. So it's like, oh, okay, good to know that I could have saved the money I spent on those exotic candies and those treats and that jewelry, whatever. So I just say like 7 minutes of context. If you're not obvious, this is going to be a long video. I'm just setting the stage so you can kind of picture how every Christmas has been. I want you to picture this. Imagine you've had Christmases where it was just a guarantee that you're going to be in bed in the fetal position as it's like a foggy, rainy, cold day outside. And you are aware that every single ex who's ever wronged you, every single man who's ever used you, every single person who has ever pissed you off or hurt you, like abusive family members or spiteful lovers or your rapists from the past, everyone is going to be having a 10 times nicer time than you. And then imagine the only real person you actually give a fuck about, who you are actually starting to feel in love with them, like when you first fucking met them, and things felt like they were going good. Imagine you find out they didn't get you a fucking gift, and they're gonna leave you alone for the holiday to hang out with your family, and you're gonna spend another fucking holiday season fucking miserable and alone. That would make someone hurt a lot. And it hurt me. And I thought to myself, why do I even try to stay with Liam? He doesn't take good care of his teeth. He only does for like a few, like 2 weeks, and then he goes back to not brushing his teeth for 5 days straight. I can't even kiss that fucking man properly some days because his mouth reeks that bad. He's not even good at giving head. He's not good at fucking me. You know what? He's actually kind of boring. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I don't have fun with him. I've been settling with him out of convenience. I want to have fun. And then I kind of thought on it. I thought about my celibacy, and I was like, you know what? I've been attaching my celibacy to it stopped being for me and it started being for other people. Like, my celibacy stopped being like I'm doing it to protect myself, to keep myself safe and be wary of like strangers who could harm me or my body or fuck up my delicate, fragile mental state. And it eventually just became, ooh, look at me, I'm celibate, I'm on lock. So any man who spends enough money on me or spends enough time and effort on me can eventually unlock it, so it feels special because he knows no one else can have it. And it stopped being like me just focusing on myself and disentering men, to me ironically just kind of having a pick me mindset about it. So I thought to myself, you know what, no, my body is mine. It doesn't belong to Liam. I don't have to just keep it on lock because Liam has gotten me a few things here or there throughout a year or so. I don't have to be monogamous to a man who's acting like I'm just fucking disposable. I can do what I want. This is my body, not anyone else's. And if anything, fuck it. I've had a fucked up relationship with my body ever since I left that asshole Jared. Curse his name. Because yeah, it doesn't feel good to be with the type of guy who doesn't take no for an answer and makes you stay up all fucking night because he won't stop begging, touching, groping, feeling, doing bad things to your body. It doesn't feel good. It fucks you up. And it didn't help that any other time I tried to even enjoy like romance or casual sex that year went terribly. Like anytime I thought this guy could be great, next thing you know, I was getting punched in the face by his ex-girlfriend because niggas want to lie and shit. Or next thing, like I don't know, it's like I had a year of just like a lot of my sexual interactions kind of broke me. I didn't feel like my body was mine anymore, and that hurt. So this is what I did. I said, fuck it. I'm gonna break my celibacy, and I'm gonna make sure I have a really, really good time doing so. I want to bless myself this holiday season because, you know, I doubt that there's anyone on this planet who can ever genuinely give a fuck about me in the same way I care about them. I've kind of given up on love because Liam even betrayed me. I've given up on Ashley believing that good was out there. I thought to myself, the world is a cold and desolate place and there's no more fucking warmth in it. So, you know what? Let me make a post online. Let me find someone online who just has a nice big dick. Something wide and girthy, something long, and they can fuck me. And I remember for the rest of the day on the 19th, I was so fucking sad. I was miserable. But then I remembered, you know what, girl? You could be at home, lying on your floor next to a bunch of, like, empty plastic bags and cups of mystery liquid that you don't want to admit what's inside of them on camera. Or you could do a ritual. And I thought to myself, you know what, it's been a while since I've done a ritual. I should do a ritual. So you want to know what I did? I, I got filled with so much anger and rage and sadness just thinking about my situation, just picturing Liam over the next few days of the holiday season having a fucking blast, not thinking about me, all my messages towards him being left on red. I was like, fuck this nigga. No! I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna have a fucking miserable Christmas. Not me, not ever. I'm too much of a bad bitch, and I'm so much better than him, and I deserve to feel fucking good. So you know what? I sprung out of bed. I stripped myself naked, even though I'm pretty sure I was already naked. I mean, I just took off my bra and panties, is what I mean. Who am I kidding? I don't wear panties, but that's irrelevant. You get what I mean. I stripped off my blanket, since we want to be specifically hyper accurate, and I went to my shower. I got my peppermint Castile soap, and I got this special soap that has a rose oil and sea salt in it, and I scrubbed away any bit of dead skin possible on my body. As I manifested that peppermint signified wealth coming my way, and my body being cleansed of any and all negative energy, and prosperity and blessings were going to come my way. I manifested that the rose and sea salt soap that I was using was washing away any doubts and fears I had in my mind and bringing in love and abundance, charisma, and beauty. And I shaved my body, and I even used an extra like sea salt thing I got from Lush that had lime in it. And I manifested that every single bit of my body was being cleansed, and that I wouldn't break a sweat, and that all negative energy would leave my system. And if you're wondering, yes, I do certain spiritual practices. I don't like to put a name on it, but let's just say it's something between, well, let's not put a name on it. Let's just say your girl is spiritual, and we can keep it that way. This will be relevant. Of course it will be. I have a specific goddess I pray to, and I know what she wants, and I decided to go for it. After I washed myself and I washed my hair and did everything I could to make sure my body was squeaky clean and soft, I got out the shower, I covered myself in even more rose oil, and I lit some nice candles, and I stared at my reflection in the mirror, and I admired myself. I have this oil. I won't tell you what I got it from, but basically it's tied to the goddess Lakshmi. She is a part of, I believe, a Hindu religion, and she's like the goddess of like love, prosperity, confidence, charisma, and wealth in like that culture. And I thought to myself, fuck it, let's do this. And I remember the specific way that this is how I can tell a ritual has really started working. The whole room burns warm from one single candle. But if I recall correctly, I also like used rose tone on my face and put on lip gloss and adorned myself in my most expensive, beautiful jewelry. And I shouted to the sky, or more specifically to my ceiling. I'm sure my upstairs neighbors heard me. And I said, Goddess Lakshmi, universe, any higher powers out there that can fucking hear me. I demand you listen to me and for what I ask for. I want you to send me someone who's unapologetically perfect in every single fucking way that I can ever goddamn desire. And I thought to myself, you have to be very specific when making requests that you're trying to manifest. But I had a lot of energy, so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna start yelling. I said, bring me someone who's like fucking smart, like fucking balling, like good fucking job, like software engineer type shit, like engineer, data analyst, whatever the fuck, good income, make them tall as fuck. And I thought to myself, okay, how tall do I want them? Do I want them like, do I want them 5'8"? Do I want them 6 foot? And I said, fuck it, make them like an obnoxious height. And mind you, at the time, I had also a mild fling with a music producer who was like 6'2". So I said, fuck it, send me someone who's like 6'3", fuck it, 6'4", someone who's obnoxiously fucking big. I decided, fuck it, we're being a size queen. I said, make them have a big dick, girthy as fuck, big fucking fat ass balls, make them gorgeous. I mean, like fucking chiseled jawline, high cheekbones, big beautiful eyes, long ass eyelashes, fine as fuck, rosy lips, nice hips, slim ass waist, nice ass, amazingly long legs. And I'm pretty sure I went hyper detailed too. I don't know if I said. I was just shouting out whatever. I said, make them confident, make them charismatic, make them smart as fuck, make them charming, make them sweet and gentle and thoughtful, and make them like as much like me as you can, and make them exactly what I need at this point in my life right fucking now. And give me someone who's obnoxious, who's really fucking good and will treat me to the time of my life. I said something along those lines. And I put the oil on my body as I admired myself in the mirror, and I smelled it, and I imagined out my most ideal future. I thought to myself, I want a fantastic, amazing Christmas fling. Something fucking spectacular beyond belief. I want someone who's like, I don't remember if I said specifically that I think I said they had to be white. I'm sorry. I know that's fucked up. I think I said something like white, but open to, or whatever races I do date, because I was like, all right, just just send me someone who actually I would date. Come on now. And it's like, okay, I'm aware that I date a lot of white guys. So I might have manifested that they were white. I don't think I manifested them being blonde. I don't remember exactly, because shit gets twisted when you're in the spiritual zone. All I know is I did that shit. The whole room burned warm. I did my little dance, my little ritual. I had a fun, sexy, sensual time, and I felt amazing, and I vibed, and I just knew, okay, cool. I demanded that, but the best thing you can do is also release expectations when you do a ritual like that. And so I remember I let the candle burn out, and the vibes go, and I just was like, okay, I'm gonna picture that everything's gonna go perfectly. And I remember as the candle burned that I made, I went online and I made a post, and I just thought to myself, okay, let's go looking for the bare minimum, and let's just allow the universe to surprise us, because like that's something you have to do. You have to just let whatever surprise you if you demand it. So this is what happened next. I went online and I made a post on the specific social media platform I go to when I want to get laid, and I was like, hello, I'm looking for someone. I have no Christmas plans, and I found out my ex isn't giving me a gift for Christmas, so I need some dick, because I need to do some ho 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 in this holiday season, and I might let you let it snow all up in my chimney if you're on my nice list. That sounds like something I would say. I was I like to get corny with it. And I made the post online. And then I got a lot of responses. A lot of fucking, like, Jesus Christ, the platform I use, it's like there's always like one woman to every like 100 or 200 men. It's fucking obscene. So I got a lot of bullshit replies. But then at some point I remember I went to bed and I woke up the next day and I saw a message from someone. And it said, hi, my name is Tony. I am a white male, blue eyes, blonde hair, 6'4", 8.5 inches, and I am an engineer. And if you don't believe me, I still have the messages. I truly do. They were like, he listed out how he had hobbies of like hiking, Muay Thai, and like all this other shit, like reading books. And it's like, oh, okay, and he also mentioned a little freaky shit, and I was like, okay, we got ourselves someone who seems just my type with everything I wanted. Like, immediately, like same day shipping. Holy fucking shit. Like, damn, nigga, that took like, that was like 9 hours later, if you think about it. That's insane. Like, crack of dawn. But, I replied to him. We tried to do a little conversation. It was rough around the edges, but, you know, I also, like, I don't know, I hesitated to talk to him because I kind of thought, I was talking to other people, and I kind of thought to myself, I don't know, this seems a little too good to be true. Something could happen here. That might not be good, but either way, I don't know, I was also just nervous because it's like, imagine you pray for something and it comes, like, that fast, you know? But eventually, me and Tony, we had decided to go along, and we were feeling each other. Photos got shared, conversations were had. I saw his dick. That shit was amazing. Holy shit, it was curved too, and it was thick, just like I like it. Big, huge balls. Nice. And I showed him not just photos of me. I sent him like a photo of me, but I sent him like a Dropbox link full of videos of me because I know that I look better on video than I do in like normal photographs. Kind of like how back in the day, like you'd see like a painting of like Anne Boleyn or something, and you'd be like, damn, this bitch is busted. How could King Henry ever like her? It's like, some of us just aren't photogenic. If videos existed in the day, I'm sure you would have seen how much of a bad bitch she truly was. Like, she was such a bad bitch that she made fucking King Henry change an entire country's religion and all that shit. Like, really. Like, two separate churches. She was fucking fine. And if she wasn't, honestly, good for her. Sorry, I got a little off track, but we're back on track. Let me focus on the actual story I want to talk about. So, me and Mitchell had a conversation. It wasn't too flowy, but it was still pretty good. And I remember that exact evening I was going to go out to a comedy show. And I wanted someone to come with me. Because it's like, free drink tickets. Like, it's a nice ambiance. And I always wanted to have a date there. I was like, hey, if you want, like, there's a comedy show that starts in a few hours. If you want to, like, drive out here and then we could, like, we could have conversation, like, talk in person, drink a little bit. And then we can truly see if you're, like, a good match for our little Christmas thing. Because mind you, in my post I mentioned I was looking for someone to basically like fuck me on Christmas Day, but after like, I don't know, cooking for me or some good conversation. And I wanted something that was a bit more fun, not just totally useless. But now here's the awkward part. Sorry, my wrist hurts really, really bad. 1 second. But, he was being kind of weird, and I guess he kept trying to convince me to meet up that same night, December 20th, to have sex. Now, mind you, I wasn't born yesterday, and I know how men work. Men like to make promises and then not keep them, because the second you have sex and give it up, then nothing fucking matters after that point. And I thought to myself, no, if I'm gonna get dicked down and abandoned, I'm not gonna have it happen 5 days before I can get consensually, like, it's like, if you want to fuck me and dispose of me on Christmas Day like I want, sure, go ahead. If you want to fuck me on December 20th and claim that you're gonna see me on the 25th with a whole bunch of promises, fuck that shit. No. So I told him no, and I remember I was like, and also I want to see you in person, grab a burger and drink and go to this comedy show. He said, oh, I'm not sure if I can truly give you what you're looking for in that regard. And I said, you don't think you can sit next to me at a comedy show and laugh? And he kind of laughed, and he was like, no, I mean, like, I don't know, I feel like I wouldn't be good company for you. And I said, but you think you can be a good fuck? I'm gonna, like, and then we had a bit of a verbal spat, but it was just a whole lot of nothing. He just was kind of like, what are you looking for? And I explained everything. I explained the shit with me and my ex and a few things that happened that year, but not too much detail. But even then, I just was like, I have a history of I'm a celibate person, because if I try to have sex with somebody in a fling sense, usually my body tries to convince me that I'm in love with them. Or I can get really scarily attached, and bad things have happened. So I'm just trying not to I told him I don't have flings often for that reason, sexually. I used to, and those went poorly, so I know myself well enough where I know what I can and cannot handle. I don't like being abandoned, I don't like this, I don't like that. And I made it clear that it's like, I was just looking for someone to fuck, but I also just want to have a good time. Mitchell, no offense, he was kind of stupid here. I remember that he said something along the lines of, sounds like you don't know what you want. And I said, have you been fucking deaf this whole time? Oh, well, we were texting, so it is funny that I accused him of being deaf. I said, you seem fucking slow. This whole time I've been making it clear that I'm looking for someone to fuck the shit out of me and cook for me on fucking Christmas Day. It's a very low bar. I just don't want to fuck someone who's going to be totally boring and can't make basic conversation. And I got really heated, because mind you, I do have a bit of a temperament at times. but also he was getting on my fucking nerves. So I remember I kind of went off on him a little bit, and as embarrassing as that is, and I was like, don't fucking talk to me. I blocked him for like all of 20 seconds, and then I unblocked him and said, but if you want to fuck on Christmas, I could be open for that. And he was like, you're a wild card, Tam. You're a bit confusing. I kind of like that. And he somehow got more interested in me because he was like, oh, this chick seems a little loopy. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, also in his first message to me, he specifically described himself as mentally stable-ish. I forgot to mention, funny enough, in my ritual, I actually did say word for word, bar for bar, I said, send me someone who's like mentally stable enough, like mentally stable-ish. I specified that. Why? Because I get along well with the nut jobs. If someone's not a nut job, it's like, I'm just saying, I get along very well with the nut jobs. I hate that I didn't mention that sooner, because now you might not believe me, but I swear on my fucking life I said that. I swear on my fucking life I said that. I mean that shit so hard. Now, anyway, me and Mitchell ended up talking more, and I was like, hey, so are you sure you don't want to meet tonight? He was like, I'm good. And I decided, okay, asking more than like 2 or 3 times is just begging at this point. I'm not going to make him. So I went to the comedy show by myself, and like conversation also did get really, really well at some point, like right before I went to the comedy show. But I think it's because he looked closer at like videos I sent him in the Dropbox link. I forgot. I sent him that later on, and he was like, "Holy shit, you're fucking stunning. Are you sure you're a real person? Like you're not a catfish or anything, right?" I said, "No. Are you a catfish? You look pretty good too." And he was like, "I swear to God, I'm not. But I don't believe this is like you know the website we met on, right?" And I said, "If you want, I can send you a photo of me like with the thumb on my head. Here, you send me back." And I sent him one, and he sent one back, and we both looked good, if not better than what we thought. That was a pleasant surprise. I thought, this guy looks... Mitchell has a very interesting face. I don't know how to explain it, but he has a face that, like... I'll put it this way. Mitchell has the type of face and frame where if you ran into him in, like, the 1800s or the 1920s or something, you'd be like, yeah, he looks like he belongs here. It's really hard to explain it. He has this sort of Abraham Lincoln vibe to his face. I think it's the fact that he has really high cheekbones, a very extremely sharp jawline, big ass forehead. Sorry, he does. Most people, lots of people do. Don't take it personal if you see this. And I don't know. He has a very presidential, old timey look about him. Then again, he also is pale as fuck. Like, I don't know. He doesn't have iPhone face. He's like, I'm just saying. Anyway, let me continue on. I'm sorry. Bear with me, I had Mountain Dew Sweet Lightning tonight from KFC. So, me and Mitchell got to talking. He said, I love these videos of you. Holy shit, you're just goddamn drop dead gorgeous. I still can't really believe it that you look this good. Like, I love the way your body looks. I love your frame. Your dress is really nice in this. Your skin is glowing. Like, wow, you look just so radiant. I can't believe it. And I was happy hearing that, but what especially made me happy over text was when he said, I like the way that you have positioned your hand on your stomach in that video. Now, me, I'm a freaky frog. I know what that means. Look at my tits if you want to, but it's like, in the video, I had my hand, like, right here. It was really just to hide the fact that I was bloating in the video, but I know what it means if a man is attracted to holding this area. If you're wondering, what's underneath this area, Tamia, like, right underneath the belly button, that, my friend, is a uterus. And do you know what it means if a man is obsessed with you touching the area of your uterus in a photo? It's basically like a dog whistle that lets you know he has a breeding kink. And I said, do you have a breeding kink? And he was like, I'm surprised you clocked me for that, but yes, I do. And he mentioned that. It kind of bummed me out that you mentioned wanting to use condoms. And I thought to myself, you know what? He's got 8.5 inches curved. On soft. Thick, girthy, almost Coke can thick dick. It's a gorgeous penis. And he's not cut, which I love. I hate when dicks are cut. I hate it. But you know what? I was like, I could give this a shot. I kind of thought to myself, now, on one hand, is that the dumbest thing you could do? To have raw sex with a fucking stranger you meet on random online? Yeah, like, of course it is. And of course, it's like a man who is just so willing to offer that probably is also a rake and a Lothario and a slut. But you know what? I specifically was like, sorry, I was feeling that shit. And it's like, simply put, if you get a fucking fine ass man like that, and you are allowing yourself one fucking day where you aren't making a man pay you for money or date you long term to have sex with you, and you know damn well you have a breeding kink too, and he's gonna buy the plan B, and you could just get slutted out really hard by a handsome fucking 6'4", 6'5" stranger in a hotel room for one day, and no one has to know about it, and you can just get really slutty, you're gonna say yes. So I said yes. I was like, you know what, maybe it's like, fuck it, we ball one single day, we could do this. He was ecstatic. He was like, hell yeah. And we talked more about it. And he had a breeding kink, but he hasn't, like, he's done it, like, raw sex with people before, but never so much of leaning into the role play aspect. And I kind of told him, I was like, oh, what, you've never experienced, like, a girl riding you and whispering in, like, your ear? Sorry. I was like, what, you've never experienced, like, a girl whispering in your ear, like, as you're about to nut? Like, how much she really can't wait for her kids to have your eyes? You haven't had a woman do this, or that. Like, I got sexy with it. And at some point, like, this man was fucking head over heels ecstatic. He was like, holy shit. Like, we matched each other's freak. We were on the same frequency. It was amazing. And he was just so happy. And at some point, I remember he messaged me at some point in the evening. Like, let me see if I can remember the exact point. I forget if it was before or after. Okay. I'll skip ahead a little bit. Simply put, we had a few hours of, like, really nice slutty conversation, and it went extremely fun. But, mind you, it was like a Thursday night. I knew that if I went to that comedy show that I like, I would get a free drink ticket, and I was not gonna miss out on a hot toddy and an overpriced fucking sandwich or burger with some comedy from some comedians I like, so I went out. And, I still texted him a little bit here and there, but I was like, you know what, I'm still gonna make him wait. It's better to make a man wait, because fuck men. And I did. And I remember, like, it was so cute. You could tell he actually didn't expect to like me so much, because then 3 to 4 separate times that evening, he was scared if I didn't respond within, like, 10 to 30 minutes. So you would see him say, oh, I must be annoying you right now. I'm so sorry. Good night. And then I'd message him and say, I'm still up. And then he'd be like, oh, shit. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. I'm just at the comedy show. Oh, okay. And then another 10 minutes would pass by, and he'd be like, oh, shit, you probably don't want to talk to me. Like, he was really, really panicking. I thought it was cute. And I also thought to myself, oh, look at him getting a little crush on me. Natural, I get it. It's the cute early stage. But either way, I enjoyed my comedy show. Got hit on by some creepy dude who got me a free sandwich. Whatever, nothing important. Went back home, talked to so-called Tony a bit more. And, yeah. And then, if I recall correctly, at some point he did go to sleep. Because he sleeps early. And guess what? First thing in the morning that he did was message me. And I was like, oh, this is cute. He's messaging me at 8 fucking a.m. What the fuck is up with that? Next thing you know, we went right back into our fun little slutty little conversations, and he even told me, he was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, he just was like, it stopped being a kink at some point. He was like, the image of, like, cream pieing in you and coming in you and being all sexy and slutty with each other, that's definitely hot. But especially... Sorry, this video is getting a lot more lewd than I expected, so I hope you're patient with me. But he specifically was like, he said something along the lines of, I imagined how you would look, like, pregnant with a nice full round belly and holding another child, like, in your arms on your breast. And at that point, in fantasizing it stopped being just sexual for me. Like, I actually feel like I ascended to heaven with that image in my mind. Like, holy shit. And that made me fucking blush like hell. I was fucking kicking my feet, and I was like, oh, look at that. Look at us. 2 freaky little delusional people about to live out our little fetish. And I think at that point, that's also when he kind of switched. Because then, it stopped just being, like, him. Because, like, also I forgot to mention, right before I went to the comedy show the night before, on the 20th, he was trying to be all, ooh, we can meet right now and fuck right now and shit. And I was like, no, we should like talk first and have a conversation and maybe get a drink. But he wasn't down for that. Then, mind you, all of a sudden, like all it took was that kink and a little bit more like sexy, flirty, sexting type shit for him to be like, oh, you know what? Hey, what if we did more than just like sex? Like he actually was like, have there been any activities you wanted to do on Christmas that you haven't done with someone before? And I was ecstatic. I was like, I'm so glad you asked. And I was like, we could go ice skating. I found this really cute hotel online. It's like a nice little boutique hotel. It's so cute and like Victorian style esque. And I think they decorate it for the holidays. They give you complimentary, like, fucking free sherry and tea and cookies and stuff. Like, it seems lit. I'm really sorry. I was like, I'm really looking forward to this. And he was like, that sounds fucking amazing, yeah. And then we spitballed so many ideas. I was like, because I was ecstatic. I was like, holy shit, I got a new friend. It's not just Liam. Amen, amen, amen. I forgot all about Liam at that point. I was like, I got a new tall, sexy white boy in my life. Let's see what good this got. Yeah! And I hit him. I was like, ooh, the San Francisco Botanical Gardens. They should be open. They have free entry for like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. There's ice skating. There's this comedy club that I really like where they have really good cocktails, and I know a bunch of people there. We could go there and check out their like special Christmas Eve show because they're gonna do a themed night. Ooh, if you wanted to, and I listed out tons of things. I was like, I know these places for comedy. I know these places for ice skating. I know these like, and I even remembered like, oh shit, I remembered something. And at some point, as I was brainstorming with him, I was like he mentioned that he had never been to like a restaurant before, or at least like a real one. Most of his life, because he kind of grew up in like Beijing, China, for like most of his childhood, and even then it was kind of weird. He's not used to restaurants at all. Like I think he kind of lived in like rural China, so it's like a white British dude who lived in like rural China. Kind of strange. Like, so he didn't understand, like, I'll put it this way. Imagine you meet someone who knows nothing about American, like no, not really much about like some stuff about American politics. He doesn't know anything about America past like Seinfeld because of how heavy censorship was in his area. So he doesn't know shit about America past Seinfeld and maybe a little bit of Nyan Cat. Any single thing that has happened in history after Seinfeld in America, he doesn't know shit about. He just doesn't. Like, unless it was something huge like 9/11, obviously. Very trippy to meet someone who just has, like, zero knowledge of any events in America ever. Kind of hot, too. It's like, oh shit. It kind of feels like befriending an android who you get to, like, teach things. It was awesome. But he said he had only been to a restaurant, like, probably, I forget if he said 5 times or 12 times. Probably like 7 times, realistically. But yeah, he had been to a restaurant maybe 7 times in his life, but even then, it was for, like, Applebee's or whatever. And he wasn't used to it. I thought that was so, it's like, or, I don't know, he was weird. At least, sorry. I'm coming down from the Mountain Dew, so my memory's glitching a little bit. But simply put, weird as fuck that he basically had not really been to a real restaurant, aside from maybe when he was young, occasionally going to a Chili's, but like less than 5 times. Imagine that. That's weird. What a weird fella. But I was happy about it, because guess what? That means I get to be his first experience at a restaurant. Now, here's the part where I'm going to tell you a little backstory. Last year for Christmas, this is how I spent Christmas. So my ex Morgan, that was shortly after he tried to sexually assault me. And I had to whoop his fucking ass. Like, fucking brutal beating I gave to Morgan. He deserved every fucking second of it, don't get me wrong. And I was traumatized and sad, and I was going through a rough time, and I remember it was the Christmas season, and I specifically was like, I don't want to just be at home, sad as fuck, depressed in my shitty house with everyone around me having a better time than me. So I went to this nice Italian restaurant that me and Morgan used to go to, like, several times together. Like, the staff know me, they recognize me. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the few black people they see at that place. Like, also, they probably wouldn't forget me in general. Like, how many black girls with a speech impediment that makes them sound the way I do you really meet? And also, what can I say? I look nice. Just had to flirt with myself real quick. But last year I went to the Italian spot. I'm not gonna say their name because it's a really nice spot. I'm gatekeeping. I'm sorry. We went last year, like Morgan and me, several times. I went to that nice Italian restaurant. The wait staff knew me, and I was always there wearing like nice jewelry and nice dresses, holding a bunch of roses that Morgan gave me. And then imagine they see me showing up at like 7 o'clock on Christmas Day, or Christmas Eve, and I'm showing up, no jewelry on, wearing all black, totally alone, and you can tell I've been crying and miserable. And I show up and they look kind of like they've seen a ghost, and they're like, the staff were like, "What do you need?" And I say, "Oh, I'm just here for a seat. Do you have any seating available?" They said, "Do you have reservation?" And I kind of was like, "Oh, I, I'm, I'm sorry." And then some of the patrons started staring at me too. They usually stare at anyone who walks in, which makes it really embarrassing. And I don't, and my eyes were starting to well up a little bit, just a little bit, not too much. And I was like, "I'm so sorry. If you can't seat me, that's totally fine. I understand. It's fine." And the lady working there, she was so nice. She was like, she gestured to this like pathetically tiny table in the corner, and she was like, "You sit there. You sit there. It's fine." And I sat there, and I remember I spent that time alone. I still had a nice time, objectively. Even though I tried to hide the fact that I was crying behind my wine glass, and I tried to ignore the bustling, huge fucking family with like the cute couples and the engaged couples and the older family bonding with the new family members. It was a huge fucking Last Supper type table directly next to my pathetically tiny table, barely bigger than a fucking Domino's pizza box. And I remember sitting there fucking embarrassed and alone and sad. The staff were nice. I gave them my card. They didn't request any tip. They just were like, "Here, I hope you have a good night." And that was very sweet of them. I was very grateful to be sad, but it didn't change the fact that it still really hurt. And if you're wondering, what did you do after that, Tamia? I don't know if the statute of limitations is up for what I want to say. Let's just say your girl did something to someone's property, and there is a small faint scar on my arm because of that. And let's just say it's not exactly fun having to hide and duck in bushes with a bloody hand for your entire Christmas Eve as you dodge like sirens and cop cars and trying to figure out which bus can get you as close to home as possible with your phone dying and a blood covered hand and a blood covered outfit. And yeah, that was something. Yeah. Moving on. Eventually, me and, yeah, so that's how I spent last Christmas, which was rough. Now, mind you, now back to the most recent Christmas, to be specific, the one that I'm describing in this story. I told so called Tony, I was like, "I know this one really nice Italian place we could go to. And like it's beautiful, like they have lit candles and fresh roses at the table, and all the walls are covered in amazing pictures and portraits of like celebrities and actors that have been there, and they always have like some sort of like string quartet or like piano playing and like very nice music and opera music, and the food is incredible, like nothing you've ever thought before. Holy shit, you will love it." And he was like, "I would love it. Let's do it." And next thing you know, like we went, like, next thing you know, several days passed, and everything about like us talking, it stopped being like, "Let's talk about kinks and fetishes and positions we like." That was nothing. Now it was like, "Oh shit, what do you think what do you think we should do first? Ooh, should we book this room or that room?" And next thing you know, we were just like chit-chatting about anything under the sun. Like, we totally even were forgetting that sex was gonna happen. We still knew it was gonna happen, but we were more focused on, "Holy shit, we got a new friend! We got a buddy! We got a buddy!" And we were ecstatic, and I was in such a good mood. I truly was happy. And he was ecstatic too. And like, as the days passed, I don't know, we got closer. I'm trying to debate on which part to bring up next. I don't know, like, we did book the hotel room, and I remember specifically Mitchell was like, sorry, Tony. Tony was like, "Ooh, The rooms at that boutique hotel you showed us are really nice. Like, we could get a room with a fireplace and a jacuzzi. How does that sound? And I thought to myself, that's fucking sexy. Let's do it. And but he really wanted a room with like a couch for some fucking reason. He was really feeling a couch room, but it doesn't fucking matter. Let's just say he had to choose between a room with a couch and a normal bathtub, or a room with a jacuzzi and a normal bed. And he was like, which do you think is better? I said, think about it. You can sit on the couch almost every day of your life. When can you go to a jacuzzi? A personal jacuzzi too. And he was like, you are fucking right. He booked and he got us a very nice room with a jacuzzi in it, king bed, all that shit, balcony, everything. Or not full balcony, but still nice. It was pleasant. Let's see. I guess I could skip ahead a bit because I didn't expect us to already get to the 45-minute part of this video, so bear with me. This might be like a 3-parter because my hand is aching and whatnot, but I'm glad I'm getting this out of my system. Simply put, me and Mitchell were really, really feeling each other. Like, it was like, yeah, it's like a cross between, it felt electric, but it also felt like home. It was like, I don't know why, I was like, we click really fucking well. In a way that just felt really, really nice. And it's hard to explain it. And I kind of thought to myself, it is really uncanny how I did a ritual and now he's here. And he's everything I've ever found attractive in a man ever. But, I wonder what the catch will be. So, time passes. Eventually, I remember this specifically. Mitchell went to his parents' house on December 23rd. The only reason he did, and he told me this, was one, just to fill the holiday quota, and two, it was because he knew I was going to dress up for the date, and we had both agreed to bring 2 outfits. And he also specifically was like, hey, how about instead of just one single day on December 25th, how about we meet on Christmas Eve? Then we can spend Christmas Eve together and wake up on Christmas Day and do anything we want and have even more time together. And he suggested that first, so I was really touched. I was like, he really likes me. Sure, why not? And so we figured, okay, shit, we gotta pack multiple outfits. Like, we gotta have an outfit to introduce each other in, like, hell yeah, and vibe for most of the day. And then when it comes to our fancy dinner plans, we gotta really boss it up. And he already knew that I glam my shit up. I remember he was nervous as fuck. He was like, what do you think you're gonna wear for your first outfit? I said, ooh, I have this nice, like, gold satin bodysuit and this nice little chain necklace with a little, like, gold bezel and a nice little diamond in the middle. And I have this nice, really, like hip-hugging brown skirt and these tights and some heeled boots. And that's only outfit 1. And he was like, that's outfit 1? Wow. And he, like, what, you sound like you're gonna be fucking gorgeous. And I was like, hell yeah, I like to step out. I'm excited for you to see outfit number 2. I'm gonna bring a whole separate set of jewelry and everything. He was like, shit. And he admitted to me, he was like, I don't get out much. I mainly just wear like cargo pants and like sweatshirts and like t-shirts, and I dress like I'm going camping all the time. For the most part, I do not have fancy looking clothing. And he was panicking like hell because of course he wants to make a good impression. He doesn't want to show up to a fancy place looking bummy as fuck. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go to my parents' place. He bikes over there, and I'll put it like this. Talking to him in the days before we met up, you could tell that he felt really, really tense about everything with his parents. Like, in the language he talked about them, you just could tell he didn't care about them. It was pretty sad. He said that basically all they did for Christmas was they talked all about nothing but the family dog. They talked about the family dog and like, oh yeah, we might buy this collar for him. We might get him this type of food, but how there was zero conversation about anything else. No, hey son, how's your Christmas going? You got any plans? How's life? How do you feel after graduating from I forget, was it a college or grad school? I don't know. I don't really give a fuck. But either, and like, they didn't ask him shit about his life, and he didn't ask shit about theirs because there wasn't anything to ask, because he describes his family as not having any hobbies, any celebrations, anything, and how he hated that. And if I recall, I think it was around this point in time where he also mentioned that, like, no, wait, never mind, he mentioned that later, so I'll save it till later. Let's just say he mentioned that he really only visited them to get clothes for meeting with me. And he did. He found some decent pairs of slacks and some belts and some proper looking shoes so he could actually look like well put together when we met up. And let's see. I'm wondering how much more I want to talk until I eventually quit this video because the Mountain Dew high is ending. Also, I gotta give my wrists a break, but I think I'll talk a bit longer about it. We could just call this part 1. So, me and Mitchell, yeah, he got clothes, and then next thing you know, it was December, or was it the 22nd or 23rd when he visited them? Whatever, doesn't fucking matter. All I know is he eventually got back to his place, and he was happy as fuck trying on clothes in the mirror and sending me photos of them, trying to ask, oh, does this shirt go with my eyes? How does this shirt look, tucked in or tucked out? Should I wear a brown belt and black shoes, or a black belt and black shoes, or brown shoes and brown belt, or mix and match? And he was panicking, and I was giving him advice, but you could tell he really, really, really was looking forward to me. He would not stop telling me how excited he was for our plans. And I was really happy too. Was I nervous? Of fucking course I was. And as the days crept closer, we both got nervous. Because we both have, like, anxiety issues. I didn't know how severe his was. I thought he was still pretty sane. At this point, he was acting pretty sane. Well, mostly. As much as sane as someone who said what he said about the breeding kink and stuff with me. You know what I mean? But it was just like innocent affections. But I'll say it like this. It was already pre-agreed upon in advance. Because, you know, he was worried about catching feelings. He was worried about me catching feelings for him. Or, like, he was worried about not knowing how much would be too much for me. Or vice versa. And I made it clear to him well in advance. I think I said this on, like, the 20th. I said, I'll put it this way. Act however you want and do whatever you want, as long as you know that the second things end on December 25th, or the second we stop seeing each other, when we stop seeing each other, I will be blocking your account, and we will not have anything to do with each other after then. I made that clear. It's like I want to make it clear that we will have nothing to do with each other. This is just a little 2-day affair. Like 1 day or 2-day affair. It's nothing serious. We can have as much fun as we want. We can love bum each other to each other's content. If you truly feel like doing that, I will know that it's fake. I will know that it's not real, and anything after that can be okay. Because I'll just deep down know that the second it hits the 26th, you will be blocked. I will go back to my normal life, and I will just be happy that I spent Christmas doing something else with someone new. And that's how it was supposed to go. At least. Now, dear reader, considering at the start of this video you saw a glimpse of what happens, well, let's just say, even if you know how our story ends, the journey is how we got there, isn't it? So I might tell you a bit more before I eventually pass out, or if I just decide to log off for the night and go back to staring at Pinterest and Reddit or whatever. Probably Pinterest. Reddit isn't as fun anymore. But I'll say it like this. Next thing you know, it was December 23rd, nighttime. We had agreed to meet at 8 a.m. to maximize as much of our plans as possible so we could get a head start on the day. I planned out our whole itinerary, and he wasn't used to that because, you know, he's the man. But I was, simply put, I'm a planner, and I had a lot of ideas, and I wanted to get through to all of them. So, in fact, let me see if I can pull up the itinerary. Yep, just found the link that I scheduled everything. 7 a.m., my date departs from Dublin on BART. 8:15, we both arrive roughly at our stations for our buses or BART trains. We walk to this one specific lounge and we get hot chocolates with peppermint candies and enjoy the view and talk a little bit. And then afterwards, we go to Japantown. Like at 8:45, enjoy Japantown until like 11 or so. Go ice skating and enjoy as much as we want until we eventually go to our hotel, shower, rest, all that. Then ideally we around 4 o'clock we go to Fisherman's Wharf all nice and dressed up, and then we go to the fancy restaurant that I want to. We enjoy our dinner. Afterwards we go to the comedy show spot that I really wanted to go to with the nice drinks. And then finally we go to the specific boutique hotel that he was going to fuck my brains out in. Also, I forgot to mention that along the way, we had also decided to get Like, it was planned in advance. I kind of joked to him, like, oh, I forget. Actually, I think I joked to him about it first, or he did to me. Either way, we both had the same idea. I joked to him, like, hey, we could always stop by this one store in, like, Japantown while we're out there and get, like, a fake engagement ring, so that then we could just propose in random places and like get everyone's reaction. And he was like, that sounds like a great idea. We could get free drinks at bars that way. And I was like, hey, I'm not shipping too hard off of alcohol, but you know what? That works too. Free drinks, free food. They could like free dessert, all sorts of things. If we just get a fake little cheap ring from a store that looks as close to a real diamond ring as possible, we can have ourselves a little blast. Just like even just to troll people and have a little fun time. You know, like fuck it, go crazy. And he loved that idea. Now, how much more of this do I want to talk to you about? I'll give you a few extra minutes to end it on a good note. I remember how cute it was. It was around like 9 p.m. at night. Neither of us had fallen asleep. And he usually falls asleep around like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you know? He's one of those people where he like wakes up and is out the house every day before like 7 a.m. One of those psychotic types, you know? I very much was the pass out at 3 a.m. type. So, but here we were. We were both up super duper late. And next thing you know, it was like 1 a.m. or so. And we were talking, and I was like, I am so fucking nervous for tomorrow. Is it just me, or are you nervous too? He said, I have been. Like, you know, it stopped being just normal jitters, and now it's like full on body shaking, anxiety. Like, holy shit, we like. I kind of said, isn't me, or does this kind of feel like the equivalent of like being like a kid the night before a field trip? Like, look at us, we're sleeping next to our clothes, we've got everything packed in our little bags, we have our little itinerary and all this stuff we're looking forward to, and we're gonna have fun, just being little buddies for the day, just being ecstatic. He was like, you're fucking right, I haven't felt that in such a long time. And you know, it's like, think about it. Two people who are insanely attracted to each other. Insanely. I'm like, we both superseded each other's expectations in terms of like what type of people we'd be meeting on the internet. We both have the same fetishes and kinks. We both like a lot of like, I showed him some porn I liked, and he was like, I can absolutely do that in bed for you. He was willing to go full on Owen Gray for me. And if you're like, who is Owen Gray? He's the alphabet leg porn star. And if you're like, who's the alphabet leg porn star? Look him up. You will love him. Oh my god. And yeah, it's like, imagine you spend like several days fantasizing with the person about like all the good fun you'll have. How amazing everything's gonna be. And he was so wholesomely excited, and I loved that. And we both stayed up until like 1, just like triple checking that we had everything packed, that our outfits were ready, that everything was going to plan, and that we were going to have such an ecstatic, brilliant time. I feel happy for the first time in ages. Not to say I haven't been happy in my life lately, I'm just saying that it does feel good that I've decided to retell this story, because it makes me remember that at some point we really were just two strangers seeking solace, because neither of us had any plans for the holiday season. Mitchell's family didn't celebrate any holidays, and he didn't have any friends or anyone to spend it with, so he would have just spent it inside, like listening to a podcast or sleeping all day and just being like, you know, passively upset and depressed. And I probably would have done a lot worse. Like, I don't want to get too morbid, but knowing the type of person I am, you can guess what I might have even considered doing to myself if I were going to be alone on Christmas. So I guess this just works as like a prologue to what happens. An hour-long prologue, I get it. You might be a little disappointed, but whatever. This will just mean I'm buzzing with excitement to tell you what happens next. But just know, me and him were two wholesome people, devastatingly attracted to each other. Really, really looking forward to fucking like animals in a million different positions, but not even just that. He was excited to try ice skating for the first time because he allegedly had never done it before, and I was excited to be the one to teach him. I told him, whatever you do, bend your knees, and that stops you from falling flat on your ass. And if you do fall, put your fingers close to your chest, because other people will be whizzing around the ice skating rink and almost slicing off your fingers. And the only thing stopping that is, like, you have to just be on your toes. like at all times. And he was like, that sounds terrifying. I've never considered that, but I want to try it. And he had never been to a lot of things, and I was more than happy to show him. But yeah, I really loved this part, and I wish that me and him could have stayed in that little wholesome, pleasant energy forever, but not all good lasts. But don't worry, this next part is still relatively good, despite what I'm gonna say next. Peace out. This is where the video ends. I'll talk to you more about it later.